Hey guys, my name is Dillon Smith from Noble Records. I have a YouTube channel where I recommend music, buy big record collections, and run my record store. My record store is located in Matthews, North Carolina. Here's another episode of Hi-Fi Friday where I'm going to share with you some of my top favorite albums to listen to with a set of headphones. My favorite part about collecting records is that it is such an intentional way to listen to music. You know, it's a format that forces you to be intentional by, pulling the jacket out. You pull the record out, you see the artwork. If it has a gatefold, you see the artwork in there. You see the label. You see how the album was formatted. You put it on the turntable, and then a lot of times you just sit back, look at the artwork, read the liner notes, and you just are really engulfed by the entire piece of art that is that album. It's not something that you're listening to in the background. It's an intentional way to listen to music. Furthermore, headphones can be a way that you can really close out all of the distractions and zone into that record. So Sennheiser was kind enough to hook me up with these sweet headphones. These are 560S headphones, and I've just been really enjoying a few of my favorite records through headphones. And as I've listened to so many different albums, these are the 5 records that I have really enjoyed listening to headphones, and I'm going to tell you why. Number 1 record here. If you know me, you know my favorite band is Led Zeppelin. This is Led Zeppelin II, and this is a Robert Ludwig pressing of Led Zeppelin II. Now, what's so special about this is the very first pressing of Zeppelin II, and many people will say that this is the greatest pressing to listen to of Zeppelin II. So basically, after they had recorded the album, it was mixed by Eddie Kramer, and it was cut by Robert Ludwig. Now, Robert Ludwig was commissioned by Kramer to make this a really hot cut. He was like, man, this record is a hot one, and it needs to be cut that way. So as Robert Ludwig was cutting this, it's such a hot, they call it the hot mix because it's so loud, it's punchy, it's in your face, the bass is just so rough and raw. So long story short, when this first pressing came out, a copy of it got to one of the executives at Atlantic's household. His daughter put it on her turntable, and it was skipping all over the place because it was a cheap turntable and it couldn't handle how hot this mix was. So he got on the horn. He's like, hey guys, halt all production of this album. Let's do a different mix. And so they went in there and they just stripped out all of the girth of it, all of the stuff that made it so magical, that deep bass, those really thick drum hits. They stripped all that out just so it would be more across the board on all record players. And they really did real injustice to this record because this pressing is absolutely phenomenal. When I'm listening, my favorite part is when I'm listening to A Whole Lot of Love, and it's going through that psychedelic whirring of guitar effects and drum hits, and then it comes out of it real strong, that boom, and the guitar solo there, Jimmy Page's just absolute raw guitar tone on that 59 Les Paul is just good stuff. So that's my number 1 pick. When I get a new turntable, when I get a new amp or speakers or something, new headphones, this is the record that I pull out to test it on because it is always right on point. Moving right along, my number 2 pick is this Jimi Hendrix UHQR Axis Bold as Love Analog Productions pressing. You open this up, it's on clear vinyl. It's on a very pure vinyl, but this is just a fantastic Hendrix record anyways. But this pressing in particular it sounds so phenomenal. The stereo panning is amazing, and when I pulled this out and listened to it on headphones, you could just hear this album really in depth, not only because of the headphones, but because there's a fantastic pressing of this album that you don't miss anything. With this and a pair of headphones, you are set. Axis Bold as Love, this UHQR pressing is off the charts. Amazing stuff. My next pick is this Mobile Fidelity Sound Lab Ultra Disc 1-step. Amazing things that they're doing with these Ultra Disc 1-steps. Basically, long story short, they cut out all the steps in the middle and they only have 1 step between the lacquer and the record that you're getting. They do it on the purest form of vinyl, and so when you are listening to this music, it's like you've never heard it before. It's amazing. This is a fantastic record. Marvin Gaye, as you know, started off earlier just cranking out hits with Tammy Terrell, and it was just a great duo between him and her. Towards the end of the 60s, she got sick. She ended up passing away. He was very affected by the civil rights movement and the Vietnam War and all this stuff. His brother was sending him letters home from the war that was just tearing his heart apart. At that point, he kind of broke away from that really refined hit-making machine that the record label was trying to get him to just keep cranking out these hits. And he took a step back and he worked on himself. He was working through some depression and things like that. And then, he started growing out his beard, wearing all different types of clothing, not only just, this clean-shaven suit, everything the record label wanted him to be. And so with this record, he went into the studio with some of his best friends and best musicians, and they just kind of took a step back, took some time, and hung out and really created some space for him to express himself and his emotions. And you can so hear that in this record, that it's just some guys in a room that are really emotional and really raw about all these topics that he's singing about. It's an amazing record. Rolling Stone just made this the #1 album out of their 500 greatest albums, and it is an absolutely phenomenal record, not only because of the lyrical content, but also because of just the recording process, the way that the album's put together. You can hear, with this pressing and a set of headphones, you can hear every bit of hand percussion. The bass lines are just absolutely beefy and sick. Great stuff. Marvin Gaye, what's going on? Fantastic record. My next choice was Lee Morgan, The Cooker. This is the 200 gram Classic Records pressing. Absolutely phenomenal record. So punchy, so emotive. This was Lee Morgan at 19 years old, working with some of the absolute best jazz musicians out there. And this album it hits so hard, even if you're not a jazz guy. This early 1958 record it's ahead of its time. It's absolutely phenomenal. Lee Morgan was a prodigy, unbelievable musician, and this album is great. Classic Records makes a really great pressing, especially with like jazz and classical and stuff like that. Really great stuff. So this is one of my absolute favorite records to sit back and listen to with a set of headphones. Lee Morgan, The Cooker, 1958. Last but definitely not least is Rush, Moving Pictures from 1981. This is my favorite Rush record, and I've not always been a huge Rush guy, but I found this record, and this is a $30 pressing of it. This is the direct metal mastering, 180 gram audiophile pressing. But this is, like I said, $30 record, not a super expensive one. But it has absolutely great, rich sound quality. When you throw a set of headphones and this, you hear the opening of that Tom Sawyer, probably Rush's most iconic song. But I absolutely love it if I either have a stereo setup or even better with a set of headphones. When you hear that stereo pan of the synthesizer, Geddy Lee is playing this Oberheim OBX synthesizer that has this absolutely amazing cascading effect that goes, it seems like it's traveling through one ear, through your brain into the other. It's absolutely mesmerizing. I love it with the set of headphones. Just the technicality that Neil Peart brings with his presence on this record is absolutely phenomenal. It's one of those that when you hear it, even if you're a drummer or not, you're hitting the imaginary air drums. It's off the charts. Amazing stuff. So that's one of my absolute favorite records to listen to with headphones, Rush, Moving Pictures. So those are my recommendations of albums that I love to listen to with a set of headphones. Have you guys heard those on headphones? Drop me a comment below. Tell me what you think. And also give me some recommendations for albums that you love to listen to on headphones. Hope you guys have a great Hi-Fi Friday and an amazing weekend listening to your records at home. Take care.